Hold up, man. Who these cats?
We gonna click up with this one. We gonna get real tribal with this.
Hold up, man. They say that Jesus came to us. Y'all boys look like a gang.
No, sir, I'm tribal. I just do what I'm commanded straight from the Bible.
And what's this commandment you talking about?
Wake up, my people. Wake up, my people. Wake up, my people. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
I say, Kwam Yasha Allah.
Wake up, wake up, wake
I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people.
Hold up. Why rap like this? Why act like that? Cause I not know who I am, Judah, and proud of that. White tee on me, my nation behind me. Matthew 10:6, that's one way, homie, that's scripture. Call me Pisa Revere, I'm screaming, Yeshaya coming. Now dripped in blood, somebody best tell him something. He taking names, he taking lives, still toes on, climbing Mount Edomite. Esau, yeah, I see y'all, Ismael, I see you too, Shiloh, come wouldn't want to be out. Step my forehead, take a bullet for I take a chip on my right hand of forehead. Listen to every word I speak, ain't gon' let them piss on me. No, we curse, but I will be marked by no beef. From Babylon to the Middle East, let them know he coming. Off a corner around the world, yes sir, he coming. Man, are you sure you guys are not a cult?
No, sir, I'm tribal. I just do what I'm commanded straight from the Bible.
And you said the commandments were what?
Wake up, my people. Wake up, my people. Wake up, my people. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah.
Wake up, wake up, wake
I say, Kwam Yasha Allah.
Wake up, wake up,
I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people.
Me and my ox go in till the time's up. And we shining pitch black, check the wine up. We like barbers in this word as our clippers. And you would get cut if your precepts can't line up. We came a long way but got a ways to go. We travel trying to bring peace, but you shouldn't try us though. The kingdom is the mission, taking no breaks. Doing the work from 9 to 5, 6 to 8. That's all day. You a Christian on Sunday, back to sending by Tuesday. Pray you see the truth one day. I won't play with a demon unless it's arrow tag. I stay in my own lane, that's a narrow path. Won't find us in your dreams, better wake up. Then repent, there's some things you gotta make up. Married to this word, and we would never break up. Hands up, face up, my forefather is Jacob.
Yeah, man, that sounds real gangster.
I'm tribal. I just do what I'm commanded straight from the Bible.
And you're saying this commandment is what?
Wake up, my people. Wake up, my people. Wake up, my people. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah.
Welcome. This is Real Talk 101 here on a Sunday afternoon. Voxwave Studios. It's been an interesting week. Oh, before I get into it, the number to the studio is 240-719-2560. This is Real Talk 101. It's your first time joining us. We keep it 100 here. We talk about past experiences, revelations, and the different things that transpired throughout the week and show how the Most High worked through those situations and how the devil tried to take us out through those situations too. Would like we start off every show with prayer requests and testimonies, man. My name's Brad Trammell, co-pilot Orlando Boyd is in the building. What's on your mind, bro? Got anything for prayer requests, testimonies?
Well, man, prayer requests. There's always prayer requests.
Right.
I mean, Jeanette's sister Deborah, her health challenges and mobility issues. Man, that's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff. I had a whole rack of prayer requests, for real. The most I know what they are.
Yeah.
It's for people going through stuff. People waking up and not knowing what they're waking up to. You're waking up to the nightmare that you thought you was asleep experiencing. My brother E, this court case, some devil trying to stir up some mess. I ain't even gonna speak to it as if it's factual, but man, it's a lot. It's a whole lot, and it's not gonna get no easier. So, brother tired, but shoot, can't sleep. Can't sleep, man.
Yeah.
I be laying there, just don't go to sleep. But
we got to finish rapping about that dream. You was telling me too.
oh yeah, that was wild. It's funny. As a result, I get the tracks though. I'm leaning on the wrong person in the dream,
Right.
and then the tracks come.
Right.
Today though, that mess is crazy.
We had a very, very productive conversation with that brother, but that's that's for another time.
Is it? We can't rap about that.
We can.
Yeah.
I mean, to a degree, because a lot of people ain't gonna know what's
That's
going
true.
on.
That's true.
That's it for your prayer.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the Most High. I mean, there's so many specifics.
Oh, is that the jump?
Yeah, it's the Septuagint.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But man, this is a blessing right here in and of itself. The Septuagint testimony. Young lady, she ordered it. I was just talking about it. Well, she said she ordered herself, and I was like, man, how much one of them joints cost for overnight delivery? To be here the next day. She was like, about $40. I said, you got Cash App? She said, I already ordered it. I said, oh, you know, praise to the Most High, man.
Yeah, I already ordered it.
But this is an interesting account of the scriptures, man. This is written in Hebrew and Greek. Prior to, well, we can get into that. But yeah, that's about it, man. The strong delusion continue to be rescinded, and man, people get ready. Get ready for what's coming, because it's coming, whether you're ready or not.
That's true. That's true. Something definitely is coming, and to tell yourself that it ain't, you just lying to yourself.
I got the scripture to prove it right here. I'm just waiting to open.
Yeah. The prayer request for myself. I know Darian's on assignment tonight. I rapped to him earlier. He has an assignment with an associate of his who was a believer but turned atheist. So.
Church will do that to you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that's what so I pray request for him. But let's jump into it. By his, thank you for assembling us again. Thank you for holding us down through the week. You know about the many people that we associate with, that we know close and not so close, who are going through it. We pray your grace and mercy and your perseverance among those people, particularly Deborah. I can think about a couple people that I know shall remain nameless, but you know who they are. Thank you for revealing your truth to us and walking us through this thing every step of the way, because we know it's a lot and there's so much more. Stuff is coming. Continue to prepare us, continue to lead us. Thank you for the blessings that you've given us resource-wise, and thank you for clearing stuff up and making things clear, especially with the conversations had earlier. The enemy loves to try to throw nonsense in the mix to cloud and complicate stuff that really ain't complicated at all. And when you come through to shut it down, it's all the way shut down. So I thank you for doing that. And I pray that you continue and use us as your utensils to continue doing those things. Remove any iniquity, any of ourselves that is at this table right now, and use us as conduits so your voice can speak through us to the message, for the messages you have for the listeners. We also pray a blessing upon this studio, all the people who come in and host various different shows. Speak to them, speak to their hearts, reveal yourself to them as only you can. We stand waiting and ready to move through. Thank you for hearing and answering our prayer in your son Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, man. Had a great time yesterday. Talking to the 3 Hebrew boys, and actually 2 came yesterday. Well, one still wasn't there. Tristan, Dwayne, and Ricky, who I teach Sabbath school to, man, came to him out of Joshua chapter 8 yesterday. It was a good little rap session, man. It was funny because their lesson plan don't make no sense. The last time I was talking to them, which was last month, it came out of Revelation, and now we in Joshua, and there was no parallel to. So I did, So I was reading it, and Joshua chapter 8 is essentially right after they came up out of Jericho, and they went up against Ai. And
Went up against Ai.
yeah, there was a problem in the camp though. The Most High told Joshua, and he told the children of Israel, he's like, look, when y'all take down Jericho, this is your first conquest in the new land, in Canaan. So I'm going to do it real big from the beginning. Jericho was known to have superior defense for their ridiculously high walls that no kingdom and army could penetrate. So the Most High had another way, because his ways ain't our ways, his thoughts ain't our thoughts. He had the brothers march around the city 7 times for 6 days straight, loosening up that ground and that gravel. And then all it took on the 7th day was the reverberations of the shout and the trumpets that the Levites blew at the same time.
What they was doing while they was marching around the joint.
Let's go back into that. Joshua, that's definitely chapter 6. Joshua, Judges, 1st, 2nd Samuel.
Joshua 6.
Yeah, the taking of Jericho. He was going to deliver the king and all his fighters into their hands. He says, on the 7th day you will go around 7 times round the town, and the priests will blow their trumpets. When the ram's horn rings out, when you hear the sound of the trumpet, the whole people must utter a mighty war cry, and the town wall will collapse then and there. And the people can storm the town, each man going straight ahead. Let me go a little bit before that.
Yeah, what happened in 6 days? Because something was going on while they was marching around it.
Valiant warriors will march around the town and make the circuit 1 time for 6 days, and you will do the same thing. So that's it. And they had the ark with them.
I thought they were singing. I thought they had a group of people out in front of them singing and playing instruments.
That ain't what this said. Hold on. Let me make sure I go back. I might have to go back to 5 to see passing on. That talks about the Passover. It's fair, Joshua, Jericho, yeah, I saw him understanding. Faces when I worship. Nah, I didn't. Starting in 6 verse 1. Now Jericho had been carefully barricaded against the Israelites. No one came out, no one went in. Then Yahweh said to Joshua, now I am delivering Jericho and its king into your hands. All you fighters, valiant warriors, will march around the town and make the circuit once. And for 6 days you will do the same thing. But 7 priests will carry 7 trumpets in front of the ark. On the 7th day you will go around 7 times around the town, and the priests will blow their trumpets. So they was just marching. And you know what? That adds to the bewilderment of the soldiers of Jericho, because you see these people moving in battle formation around the city, but then all they do is march around and then they roll. And so by the time the 7th day came around, they're thinking nothing else is going on. They're just going to come and march around the town. But this time they let out the shout and the wall broke up. Where you at?
I'm right here. He said, don't say nothing. Don't let nothing come out your mouth until I tell you to.
Right.
I don't know
do
why
not
I had
shout, do not utter even a word. Let nothing be heard from you to the day when I say raise your... You know why that's important? You know why that's important? Because when we speak and do with the Most High, we jack stuff up. He's like, I want y'all all the way to shut up, because I'm going to get the glory for this. All you did was march. Marching orders. Each of us got marching orders. All you do, don't even say nothing, just...
Left, right, left.
Left, right.
Just keep your feet moving.
Just keep your feet moving, man. And
can you imagine seeing a group of people doing nothing but marching around your city?
Very deep too.
Yeah, whole lot of people.
A whole lot.
You just watching them go around. They ain't saying nothing. They ain't throwing no rocks. They ain't doing nothing.
Man, the first 2 days they had to been like they were tooled up because you see that many people, so you grab your swords, your shields, your helmets. But then by the 3rd day they come and do it again. It's like, these jokers, they don't even attack them. That's the funny thing.
There's rules of engagement, man.
Okay.
There's rules of engagement. They ain't do nothing.
They ain't do nothing. So they couldn't attack them. They just marched around the city. But on that 7th day, that ground had been nice and loosened up. Because I made this comparison. The Most High brought it to me. I was like, have you ever seen them nature shows that you hear a stampede of like zebra or wildebeest? That joint is like thunder. You can hear it from miles out. And the closer you get, the more the ground shakes. So you talking about, of course, we ain't got 4 legs, but we're marching in syncopation. That's steady. The ground is just breaking up all around the joint. And that's what I imagine anyway happened. And so to move a little bit past that, the Most High said, look, when you sack the city, all booty, all gold, silver, valuable linens, everything is to be consecrated for my temple. There shall not be one of you who takes anything for himself. He's like, if you do that, essentially there's going to be a ban upon you, which is like a curse, because all this is for my treasury. And it made sense because he gets the first fruits.
Right.
Every time we get paid, he said, give me the first fruits. The very first town to be sacked was Jericho. So all the spoil that was in Jericho belonged to him. When he made that distinction, only person and also the only person out that city that was saved was Rahab. She was the only one. Everybody else got decimated. They utterly destroyed both men, women, young and old. They killed everybody. And they took the livestock, they took everything out because that's what they were told to do. There was one brother named Achan. And Achan saw a Gucci leather jacket lying on the ground. And he saw a couple thousand stacks, like right next to it. So he decided that he wanted that, and he took it. And he put it in his tent and buried it in the ground underneath his tent. So what happened next was, imagine how much confidence you have after seeing the walls of Jericho come down and you just rout the city. You confidence level is like all the way up here. So next they got this little town called Ai, much smaller, not as big as defenses. And Joshua had called about 2,000 to 3,000 men to run and do a scouting report of Ai. They came back and said, man, we don't even need half the army to take these jokers out. Just give like 5,000, tell them to march over there and take them out. 5,000 got up, 5,000 went over there, and 5,000 got repelled. And approximately, according to the word, 36 Israelites died. And it didn't mention none of Ai's soldiers dying. So when they came back after this embarrassing defeat, of course, they did the rending of the garments, throwing the ash on the head, which back in the day symbolized great mourning and remorse. Joshua himself prostrated himself before Yah and was begging him, saying, what, if it's anything that I did, let me know, this, that, and the third. And I got to read Yah's response because I actually like that joint. Let me see where it is. Yahweh's answer. It starts in Joshua chapter 7, verse 10. Yahweh answered Joshua, stand up. Why are you lying prostrate like this? Israel has sinned. They have violated the covenant I ordained for them. Yes, they have taken what was under the ban, stolen and hidden it and put it into their baggage. That is why the sons of Israel cannot stand up to their foes, why they have turned their backs on their enemies, because they have come under the ban themselves. I will be with you no longer unless you remove what is under the ban from among you. Now, the seriousness of this whole story shows how one man's negligence and greed can cause a whole group of people, a whole nation, to lose the support of the Most High. So when I saw that, I was like, man, that's so serious. So the Most High said this. He's like, what you're going to do is you're going to draw lots, which are drawing straws. He's like, I'm going to ordain by tribe first, then clan, then family, then individual. Whoever keeps drawing the shortest straw, I'm going to show you who it was. So they did that. The tribes came by, tribe of Judah. Clans came by, Zebedee. After that, the family of, I think it was Zerah, Z-E-R-A-H. I believe that's it. Yeah, that's right. He called up, no, the clan was Zerah, and the family was Zabdi, I believe, if I'm right. Achan was the dude in the family who drew the shortest straw. And by that time, you got to imagine something. If you know you guilty.
Just narrow it down.
And you just narrow it down, like you sweating. You know what I'm saying? You breathing hard, your palms sweaty. I'm going to just be like, all right, hold up. Y'all getting too close. It's like, it's me. I ain't going to wait until you get down to me picking the straw in front of everybody, because everybody's watching.
Yeah,
everybody's watching.
Everybody's watching.
So this brother pulled the shortest straw, and Joshua said, man, why have you done something like this? You know, you have brought shame and put a bunch. He's like, curse. He's like, give glory to God. He might save you right now. But they found the jacket, which was a fine linen robe, actually with purple in it and gold fringes. They found that, and they found the silver. I think he had like 40 shekels of silver that he stole. And they found it in his tent. They brought it back to Joshua, and then they did something extreme. Joshua took this brother, took everything that he owned, his livestock, and his family. And they brought them to the valley in front of Ai, and they stoned them, the entire lot of them, until they were dead, and then they burned them up. I was like, that's such, and you know, we sit here and sometimes we think, you know, Yah is merciful, he is kind, he is loving, but boy, when his rage burns out, he says that, he's like, I will let my rage burn out against you. When he does stuff like that, yeah, it ain't no time for no games. He makes quick and light work of anything. When he is upset, and he's justified to get upset, because when he gets upset, because he is loved, it has taken a lot of time for it to build up. That's why in the word it also says they fill up the sum of their iniquity. They fill up the cup. So it's like he don't take you out on the first mistake. All praise that he don't do that, because we wouldn't be here right now, honestly.
True.
But he lets that joint fill up, and you keep ignoring him, keep denying him, and then at some point in time, you will be no more. It says in the end times, it'll be as if the wicked never existed at all. That's a very sobering thought. But back to the story. After they took care of Achan, then I like this part, and I know the young brothers did too, because Yahweh strategized with Joshua on how to take out Ai. He told them, he was like, look, this is what I want you to do to take them out. Take 5,000 men, post them up behind the city as a siege, as a ambush. And he's like, what I want you to do is after they go by night to hide, in the morning, I want you to march out there with your full force. And then when they come out of the city to engage you, run away from them. So they essentially playing chicken. So Joshua and the boys do exactly that. They come, and Ai and the king think and say, oh, they just going to run like last time, because that's what Yah said the king would say. He's like, they had no idea that there were 5,000 in ambush on the western side of the city, because they fell upon them from the north, but on the western side is where the exit is. So Joshua runs away with the squad. Ai, the king of Ai, and the troops pursue. And as soon as that happened, Yahweh tells them in mid-flight, turn around and stick your spear up and point it at the city. When Joshua does this, the 5,000 emerge from their hiding place. They quickly run in, take control of the whole town. And the order was, don't take nothing, don't kill nobody, but immediately start burning everything. So as soon as they run up in the city, they light their torches and they just set fire to everything that they can. So that when the smoke starts piling up and billowing, when the soldiers from Ai turn around, they see the smoke. This is what happened to them. They got confused, and they were focused on killing the Israelites at first. But now when they turn around and they see their home burning, they start to think about their family, start to think about all their belongings, start to think about any other thing besides engaging in fight, but to save what's already being taken away from them. When that happens, Joshua turns around, the whole force that was running away, and collapses on them. And then the people who were in the city, burning the city, came out of the city, so that the word says in the King James, I remember I read it, says that the soldiers of Ai found themselves in the midst of the Israelites. But in this version, it says, hold on.
They were surrounded.
They were surrounded. And it said, this is chapter 8, verse 20. When the men of Ai looked back, they saw smoke rising from the town into the sky. None of them had the chance to run one way rather than another, for the people fleeing towards the wilderness turned back on their pursuers. That was Joshua and the Israelites. For when Joshua and all the Israel saw that the town had been seized by the men in ambush and saw the smoke rising from the town into the sky, they turned around and attacked the men of Ai. The others came out from the town to engage them, so that the men of Ai found themselves surrounded by Israelites, some on this side and some on that. These set about them till not one was alive and none left to flee. But the king of Ai was captured alive, brought to Joshua. When Israel had finished killing all the inhabitants of Ai in the open ground, and where they followed them into the wilderness, and when all to a man had fallen by the edge of the sword, all Israel returned to Ai and slaughtered all its people. The number of those who fell that day, men and women together, was 12,000 people of Ai. But then they left probably the most critical, like, in your face, like, yeah, type move. They hung the king and hung him from the gate of his own city. And they built up a pile of bodies underneath him. So that it's like, you thought that the Israelites had lost their power and that the Most High wasn't with them no more. But it's like, nah, we just got finished with Jericho, and now we're doing this, and now we coming for the rest of y'all. So my message to the brothers was like, it's critically important to adhere to the directions of the Most High that He gives you. They just starting the school year. 2 of them are juniors in high school. So I was like, when you seek His face and He gives you explicit direction, stick to it. Because what He can do is blow your expectations on what you think you can do with the classes that you got. You may think, I'm gonna just pass with a C. C is passing. You get straight C's, you can graduate to another level. But I was like, knowing Him, He'll probably bless you so much that you get an A in classes you never thought that you would.
True.
So when I brought that message to them, man, they received it. I know they liked it because, they was fighting about. I don't know why people say that the Old Testament is unexciting. You know how many wars and battles happened in the Old Testament? I mean, just the Chronicles and the Kings. And I mean,
All war stories.
all war stories, man.
Win some,
David,
we lose some.
yeah.
When did they? What? Not to change. What happened? Because apparently they were successful at Jericho. They were successful at AI.
Right.
When did it turn around for the children of Israel?
Ooh, that's going a little forward a little bit. Oh, I'll tell you what it was. That's easy. I remember this lesson from nothing else. They were conquested until the devil was like, I can't attack him and beat him. I can't do this, that, and the third and beat him. So what are we going to do? Allow the surrounding nations to come with hands open and with gifts and integrate the women. When they integrated with the women, it was over.
It was over.
Because the youngins in the area was bad. And that's the devil's, that's always been the devil's trump card. It's always going to be his trump card. Whenever he can't take out y'all's men, especially when they focused on him,
He sent the women.
he sent the women in, man.
That blame women, man.
And they brought in the idolatry. They brought in the Baal worship, the Ashtoreth worship.
Ah, boy.
They brought in all that, man. And when we start, it slowly but surely, it didn't happen initially because, we tried to convert them.
Right.
You know, we say you bring, she good. She,
Yeah,
she
leave her
just-
here. We're going to have a
leave
Bible
it-
study. We're going to teach her something.
we going to teach her something.
Man.
But slowly but surely, man. Slowly but surely, the customs of the surrounding nations took over. The pillars were set up. Incense was being burnt to idols, idol worship, idol temples, all that stuff was set up. And the Most High was like, man, y'all play the harlot under every... He's like, I'm a jealous God. Y'all got to understand that. He was like, and besides the fact, this is what I know this drives the Most High crazy, because when you think about it, it doesn't make any sense, but in equally, it shows you how far the human mind can go in the wrong direction. You are offering sacrifices and praise and worship to nothing. That's like me worshiping this. It's nothing. They went out to the woods, got rocks, and got trees that they cut down, or stones that they fashioned with tools, overlaid them with gold and with metal, and set them up, and then worshiped them. Made sacrifices to them, burned incense to them. Pretty much everything that he told them to do in the Levitical law for himself, they did for these false idols according to the rituals of the surrounding nation. And we already know the devil can't create nothing. So anything that he saw the Israelites doing in their proper worship to the Most High, he mimicked and did it for himself. Like, for instance, one of the things they were incredibly guilty of was having their children pass through the fire to the god Molech. That was one of the big, and I broke that down yesterday. I was like, what would cause a mother? I know how much my mother loves me. I know how much my father loves me. But I don't know what would pass through a parent's mind to say, oh no, for me to appease or get ahead in life, I need to take my child and have them pass through the fire, literally burning them while they're alive. If they make it, they make it. If they don't, they get cooked right there so that I can advance. And it's all to this false god, Molech, which is, essentially a demon. I mean, to go that far to the left, man, it blows your mind. But then, I see the type of stuff that's going on today in this world. And yeah, man, we headed back in these wicked directions, man. That's why if you ain't got your nose, your whole forehead up in this right here, trying to get to know the Most High, you ain't got no win. Because there is no middle ground. You either on the right side or you on the wrong, man. So I brought all that up to say, man, they received it. All praise to the Most High that they did, because I know he was using me when I was speaking, because I don't never have no game plan. I just speak to them from the word. This is what I read. But, they took it. And, yeah, man, it was a blessing to them and myself, because every time I give them a message like that, I'm preaching to myself too, because I know things I be putting before the Most High, he don't appreciate it. So it's just a reminder I need to sacrifice the things that I love for him. Because if I seek him first, he's going to add everything to me. He said it in his word, and he can't lie. So it's real.
It was funny you started with that. The Most High had me on Saturday. I never looked it up. I looked it up like 3 times. I didn't read it. Mm-hmm. But the city was AI. AI, artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. I know that's not what that meant.
Right.
But artificial intelligence, we upon that. We there. We was watching a Short Circuit too.
Oh wow.
With Johnny Five, right?
Yeah.
At the end of that joint, they made Johnny Five a citizen.
Oh, yeah,
He got his citizenship. You know, they paid him gold.
Right.
Or, you know, made him gold.
Right. They did. Yeah.
And, he
Man,
got his
that's old.
citizenship.
That's so old.
You know,
Right.
but the movie was interesting. It's old as a mug, but it was interesting how this robot said he was alive. He was endowed by his creator with certain rights.
He said that.
He said that because the dude, remember the white dude was trying to sell him.
Yeah.
Took him to the corporate office or whatever, and he was like, man, you know, what's
coming
for
back
sale?
to him. Right.
He was like, you for sale? Johnny Five not for sale.
He said that.
He said, Johnny Five ain't for sale, man. He said, I'm alive, but he a robot.
Right.
But he felt like he was alive. That's my first time. I'm gonna read. All right. I was watching this joint about this dude Jeff Bezos, right, and what his
wow. Yeah, that's
objective
dope.
is. He wants to be able to link the human brain to computers. So in essence, the computer will be doing the thinking for the human. Will be all these different, you know, databases or whatever, all this information, these algorithms, it's producing all this information. It's already like that. You know what I'm saying? Most people's phones think for them. Most people's tablets think for them. You know what I'm saying? You got an issue, you ask your phone. Literally, hey, this, that, or the other thing, you ask your phone. Making the phone smarter. The phone is doing the thinking for you. I'm guilty. I don't talk to my phone, but I will Google some stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the definition of artificial, made or contrived by art. Wow. And that's why he had me there. That's why he had me there. Art. The adaptation of things by change or combination to the accomplishment of some end. That's art. The adaptation of things by change or combination to the accomplishment of some end. Practical skill. Facility knack. Yeah, this is art. Application of skill to bring about a desired result. You think a picture, a painting, and you think art,
Right.
sculptures. Apparently art got a different meaning. Application of skill to bring about a desired result. An occupation requiring such skill as the industrial arts. 4, cunning or cleverness. This is art. Cunning or cleverness and contrivance. Aesthetic quality. 5, the aesthetic quality, the application of skill and taste to the production of beautiful things, especially in paintings. Here you go. Engraving, sculptures. This is one aspect of art. Music, literature, architecture, and dancing. Any one of these forms of production known in a group as the fine arts. 6, a branch of learning, especially the branches of learning included in the ordinary course or academic study, known as the liberal arts, black art, magic, necromancy. All those are arts. Black art, magic, necromancy. Those are arts. So, artificial. Made or contrived by art. Produced by human skill or labor as artificial heat. Feigned, assumed affected. Not genuine or natural. Artificial line. Artificial line in electrical transmission, a network having electrical characteristics resembling those of an actual line. It's not real. It resembles that, an actual line.
Right.
Synonyms: fictitious, spurious, counterfeit. These words alike describe that which is not real, natural, true, or genuine. Artificial, not real, natural, true, or genuine. Artificial, not real, not natural, not true, not genuine. Artificial may mean false as opposed to real, as artificial limbs, foliage, teeth, or it may mean affected as open to sincere, or it may mean affected as opened as opposed to sincere, as artificial ways, manners, conversations, or it may mean produced by manufacture rather than by natural growth, as artificial gas or flavorings. Fictitious describes that which is imagined by the mind as a fictitious narrative or character. Spurious and counterfeit describe that which is deliberately deceitful. Spurious claims are not what they seem to be. Spurious signatures are false. Counterfeit coins are imitations of the real ones. artificial, not real. But then you got intelligence. So not real.
Not
Intelligence.
Real intelligence.
Intelligence is a little longer. Intelligence. No, it ain't. Yeah, it is. I don't know if I want to read all this. Intelligence, the ability to learn, to profit by experience, or to acquire knowledge. An artificial ability to learn. A not real ability to learn. Ability for reasoning and abstract thinking. Intellect. That's becoming fake. Not real. Your intellect is that's what they shoot for. Ability to meet a new situation to solve a problem or direct one's conduct or thinking effectively. To direct one's conduct or thinking effectively. Common sense. Intellect. Intelligence, rather.
Intelligence, yeah.
Common sense. False common sense. It's being
Dangerous.
that which possesses these abilities or powers of mind, intelligence, that which possesses these abilities or powers of mind as the supreme intelligence. 5, information or news, particularly secret information, as that secured for government use during wartime.
Intelligence, yeah.
Damn. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Central Intelligence Agency.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's still fake. No.
No,
'Cause
that's-
that ain't artificial
that ain't
intelligence.
artificial,
That's
right.
real intelligence.
Yeah.
They want us.
Like reconnaissance to get intelligence, yeah.
They want us to function on artificial intelligence. And there's a lot
That's why
more
everything
here.
is, and they call it smart. Like smart TV, smartphone, smart refrigerator,
Smart homes, smart cars,
smart homes.
smart.
Let's look up
Let's see what
smart.
smart means.
Yeah.
Because
It should bear some resemblance to, I'm thinking, intelligence.
smart. There's a whole lot. It was a whole lot more to intelligence. But I mean, you get the gist of what the objective is. You know, you think you got something, but it's not what you need. It's not what the best. It's not what's the best for you.
Right.
Smart, to feel or be the source of a lively, stinging sensation.
What?
Oh, something smarts. Like, oh, that's smarts. People say that. To cause a stinging sensation or pain. To suffer. Well, we don't know what the hell smart means then. We don't use it like, well, I guess
Yeah,
it's in
we
here
don't
somewhere.
use it like that.
To suffer, have one's feelings wounded. To cause a stinging sensation. A quick, lively pain, a pricking sensation, keen grief, causing a stinging, sharp sensation, severe, sharp, as a smart punishment, brisk or fresh,
What?
as a smart breeze, bright, capable, clever. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Bright, capable, clever, shrewd, quick at bargaining. You're smart. Pertly, witty,
Yeah.
impertinently vivacious, quick at repartee, R-E-P-A-R-T-E-E, whatever that is,
Oh, repartee.
repartee, of clothes, equipage, or the like style. Okay, I don't know. But that's
First
what,
couple definitions threw me off. I didn't even know that.
That's something to do with pain.
Pricking, yeah.
Yeah.
Suffering.
That's smarts. I just wonder, why do people say that's smarts? Because that's how you actually use the word, I guess.
Oh. I
That's
ain't never thought
smarts.
about it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You see
yeah.
that? Like, man, what is he
I have
talking
heard that. I have heard that. Wow. I never knew that till today.
And, you know what I'm saying? It's the way we use these words, man, and looking at what this world has come to, especially over here in this. Well, shoot, you look at China and them other Dubai and them other technical Israel. Them countries is just all technology. Slim. They the Jetsons. They living like the Jetsons over there.
This is Singapore.
You know what I'm saying?
Singapore is in the year 2050 right now.
See, you said Singapore.
Yeah, dog. They have tech gardens to where their architecture don't make no sense.
Tech gardens.
Yeah, tech gardens. Yeah.
What's a tech garden?
If we looked up I'm sure if we looked up the definition of both tech and garden, it still wouldn't be encaptured what they have over there. It's kind of like a learning hub, like what they have, like facilities to facilitate, free to the public because their government is completely
Like
different.
outside computers?
Yeah, well, that and learning, like a learning facility. I guess it would be similar to a library, but just more complex. They have architecture and structures that,
Hold up.
if you hadn't seen it before, they would.
Hold up.
they would defy logic and reason, man.
Do you want the phone number? 240-719-2560. That's the studio line. 240-719-2560. My bad. Tech Garden.
Yeah, Tech Gardens, man. But bottom
want me
line
to look
is
that up?
Singapore. No.
Okay.
Yes, bottom line is Singapore is their technology is pretty advanced. Sure, man. What was you getting to with the artificial intelligence?
I mean, that's where we're going. That's what the world would like for us to be. You know what I'm saying? For our intelligence to be artificial. They want these devices to think for us. I was telling somebody, what was that movie? What was the movie? The movie I was watching, and when the lady came on the news, she said, we interrupt programming to bring you this message. The TV programs you. The phones program
The phones for daggone show.
I realize as much as I play this little stupid game on my phone, when I'm not staring at my phone, my vision is better. Like, my vision is blurred. The eye doctor told me my vision is perfect. But everything's not crisp like it used to be. Like, it's like blurry, but I still see it. But when I don't stare at that phone for a day or two, my vision clears up.
Yeah, I can testify to that. That's
You know what I'm saying?
That's 100% accurate.
So what is it in this phone that's messing with my vision?
It's them LED lights and all that stuff.
And they got them everywhere.
You look at them at night, like, because some people, you be in the bed looking at that joint, you got that bright light right up there in your face, man. I've experienced that too, man. It's like you almost got to refocus. That's why I enjoy the Sabbath so much, man, because I make it a purpose, and I know I need to be doing it the other 6 days of the week to keep that joint down. I can't use it while I'm at work for most of the time because I'm in a dead zone at work, so that helps me. But when I'm at home, I can be on that joint for hours, man. And
It's easy.
It's easy. All entertainment comes through there. Everything. You can pull anything up on your phone.
What is it doing? What is it doing? Because I'm sure there are people who get tired of scrolling down Facebook's timeline and Instagram and all that, but it's like you can't stop.
Do you know what it is, really? When I found out, like 2 years ago, the FBI has their own floor in the AT&T headquarters. Ever since I learned it, they got it in Verizon too. So don't think it's just AT&T, Slim. They have their own floor. I think all these devices are just tracking devices.
Oh, yeah.
They collect information.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you looked at, anything you trust me, man, that data is compiled something. And then this whole mystery about the cloud.
That's what
Everything is talking
to the
about
cloud.
the flipping cloud. Everything
goes to the cloud.
I got like all these tracks, gigabytes full of tracks. They're all up in the cloud.
They're in the clouds.
I was like, nobody understands the flip. I seen a movie about that. He's like, don't talk to me about that daggone cloud. Don't nobody understand the cloud.
It used to be a terrible thing to be in the clouds. It was like you weren't paying attention to what was going on around you. Where's your head at? Get your head out of the clouds.
His ass out the cloud.
But now everything goes to the cloud. That's the safe place.
That's
Stupid mother suckers.
Man.
I'm sorry. I'm not. No.
I mean, the things I've seen, that joint, The Family, after watching that mess, man, and that's a whole nother. We telling you right now, if you hadn't had a chance, if you have a Netflix account, which most people have because they borrowing it from somebody else, I am too. If you got a Netflix account, check out this. It's 4 or 5 part series. Five part series called The Family, and that's only season 1. That's the thing that shocked me. It said season 1.
Truth.
So that means they plan to expose more. And then, but this is the thing. With the information that comes, when you watch it, you'll see, we ain't going to dig into it right now, but when you see it, it's like, I'm like, how much of this was approved by those people who are still in power, or is it that they just don't care? Because essentially, what they're saying in The Family is there are people in this country who are so wired up and sewn up into the rich elite, the 0.01%, and the fact that they do it under the guise of Christianity and saying that it validates everything they're doing. They don't care what you think. They can make mistakes and keep on rolling and then just attribute it and say, well, we're doing God's work anyway. He knows we're flawed, so we can just do whatever we want to do. That type of mindset is very dangerous because you can't tell it nothing. Because they're thinking they're submitting it to the higher power, but they're just submitting it to the wrong higher power.
Some of them view themselves as Christian.
Some of them.
Them boys that was in that house
Oh yeah, they didn't.
said,
Yeah.
we not Christians.
Yeah.
We just love Jesus.
Yeah.
We just do what
All
Jesus
about-
tells.
all-
All about Jesus. Jesus plus nothing.
Jesus plus nothing.
They got a book that they consider a Bible that just has Jesus on it. Black man said he seen the book. He said he can get me into Little C Street, Johnson. I don't want to go up there.
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
I don't want to go up there. There's no reason for me to go up there. There's nothing for me.
We know
At
what's
one of
in
those
there.
prayer breakfasts.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe. Niggas, man, you. Man, she look familiar. You got people that they think because it's labeled Christian, it's pure. It ain't nothing pure. The individual's motives may be pure. Young lady, Felder's wife said, "Oh, I appreciate the way you showed Christian love." I said, "Hold up. What do you mean Christian love? That's like an oxymoron. How you gonna use the two terms together?"
Right.
She was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, look at what Christians have done in this country over the years. That's not love. Most High is love. They show me where they showed people God,
Right.
but they profess Christianity. You don't know what you're talking about. You need to look these words up and research these terms that you use, and we apply to ourselves as if we speak these things over us. I'm a Christian. Are you? What you mean is you want to live Christ-like. That's something completely different. That's a different type of motivation, I would think.
Right.
But not to knock anybody that hasn't had the opportunity to develop that type of understanding. But think about it. Don't use artificial intelligence. Use intelligence. Don't even use smarts.
Yeah, don't do
use
that.
intelligence. Be an intellectual. Use reasoning and look at this thing. That kind of segues as far as using reasoning. Some may know, some may not know. It's basically been made official that we've been here under the affliction and servitude of this great nation for 400 years. 1619 to 2019, 400 years. What does that mean? What is the significance of that? What does that got to do? I don't know if it got anything to do with you. I know what it means to me. That means the Most High is officially, all this waking up that people doing, all of this understanding that's being revealed, it's for a reason. Why people are leaving the church in droves, it's for a reason. He said, come out of her, my people. Come out of that BS, my people. And people waking up. Those that stay asleep, they choosing to keep hitting the snooze button, hey man, whatever. I guess somebody wake them up. But if you go to Genesis, chapter 15, and I'm going to start at the beginning of the chapter, and to paint a picture, well, we know that of the individuals that was brought here, they were descendants of the tribe of Judah. The tribe of Judah being one of the sons of Israel, who was Jacob, Esau's brother. I guess they was twins. One was born a little before, but twins. They was twins. Jacob, the Most High changed his name to Israel. He had 12 sons. Reuben, Simeon. He had 12 sons.
Yeah.
Judah was one of them. And history will show you, man, they got books. I found one. I'd have $65,000 book. I found it online.
Oh.
Yeah, PDF. So I'm on page 16.
Okay.
Got a whole rack of stuff, and it's gonna be fuel for the fire for a long time. 690 some pages. I'm gonna read all of them. But we were strategically placed on the west coast of Africa, so that the narrative could be we were Africans. We're not Africans. Even to live, we've gone through that before. Even to be on that continent don't necessarily make you an African. That's just the name of the continent. You know what I'm saying? We're not North Americans. But the continent we live on is North America. Who calls himself a North American? Who from South America calls himself a South American? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. The Most High he made a promise to Israel. He made a promise to Jacob, rather, when he changed his name to Israel. Told him he was going to do it through his seed. But he made a promise to Abram, too. He made a promise to Abram before he was Abraham. And he told him to leave the land of his childhood, of the Chaldeans, or Babylonians. He was in Babylon. Most High told him to leave that. Young lady that be at the studies, Jennifer, she helped bring understanding to the fact that Abram had left for a minute. And when he came back, I think I said Jasher, I think.
Jasher.
Book of Jasher. He had left for a minute. And when he came back, his family was corrupted. You know what I'm saying? So he was calling him out on stuff.
Right.
So he apparently he stuck with the laws and commandments or the teachings or whatever was handed down of the Most High. He stuck with that. Came back and saw that everybody was jeffing. So Most High was like, lead that. Take everything that's yours and lead. I'm gonna show you where you're going. So 15, this ain't at that part, but 15 said, and after these things, the word of Yahweh came to Abram in a vision, saying, fear not, Abram, I shield this. I'm reading out the Septuagint, by the way. I'll talk a little bit. Give you a brief overview of the Septuagint real quick. This was, so I'm intrigued at the knowledge that's coming about the gap, the space in between Malachi and Matthew. You never think about it because your Bible doesn't.
It ain't in there.
It doesn't give you any indication that there was something there.
Right.
It just flows straight from the Old Testament to the New Testament. When there was 400 years in between these two periods, 400 plus years. And a person may, what is that the time frame that Israel was? No, it's not. Do some history will show you what was going on during that time period. Yeah, they had been besieged by Greece, but that was their land. They were enslaved in their land, not where we're about to get to. But this book was composed of or compiled by Jews who could speak Greek, Grecians, Greek-speaking Jews, who sent to, I think it said Eliezer, or was sent to the priest that was in Jerusalem, and asked for 70 men. I think it was 70 men. What was it? 70 men, 6 from each tribe, something like that. Well, he requested men to come to translate the scriptures into Greek. So, according to the introduction, this is what believers, I guess, prior to the Messiah, this is the scriptures that they had. They had which composed the Old Testament and the apocryphal books. That's it. Not no New Testament, but the New Testament was written by Greek. It was written in Greek. So why wouldn't that be added? That made me ask the question: what is it about the New Testament that they didn't put it in here in this particular book, or at least add it on the back end?
Why?
So I'm questioning the material.
That has the apocrypha in it?
This has the apocrypha.
Huh.
Yeah, and it gives a breakdown of the books.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? Of time period, who the person is, what it's talking about. You know what I'm saying? So these Greek-speaking Jews saw the significance of the Most High saw this. As it says in the beginning, it wasn't even known why it was done at the time. They didn't even know why they did it because you had the Hebrew.
We can relate to that.
They had the Hebrew, but at the same time, the Most High knew Greek was going to fade. They was going to redo Hebrew. The Hebrew that's now ain't the Hebrew that was then.
Right.
The Greek that's now may very well be the same Greek that was then. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know this for a fact, but it could be. So they took what was the original Hebrew and translated it into the then Greek so it could be preserved, if nothing more, in Greek. But this is the English translation of that Greek. So what they got in the Hebrew back then that they wrote in Greek, this is the English translation of that. So this is Greek. Not Hebrew like the Tanakh got the they just cussed the Tanakh out because it's based on Masoretic
text?
Yeah, which the Masoretes was hundreds of years after the Savior. Hundreds of years after. This was before the Savior. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as what the scriptures were. And a lot of New Testament authors quote the Septuagint.
Septuagint, right, they do.
For their Old Testament, you know what I'm saying, scriptures. So there's a little background on this particular book, the Septuagint. Older. This was a book that was around before Christianity even hit the scene, before the Holy Bible, which is just a compilation of tainted scriptures. So, and after these things, the word of Yahweh came to Abram in a vision, saying, fear not, Abram, I shield thee, thy reward shall be very great. And Abram, note, his name is still Abram. And Abram said, Master and Yah, what wilt thou give me? Whereas I am departing without a child. But the son of Mesech, what does yours say? This is Mesech.
My Lord Yahweh replied, what do you intend to give me? I go childless. Then Abram said, see, you have given me no descendants. Some man of my household will be my heir. It don't say nothing.
So no specific name?
But you know what? Right here under this notation, it says the original text is irrevocably corrupt, and the son of ... It says unintelligible word of my house is Damascus Eliezer.
Damascus.
Damascus Eliezer. That's what it says right here.
It says the original text is corrupt.
Yeah, it said or the original text is irrevocably corrupt. So I guess right after he says I go childless, he says something else, and it can't be. It's unintelligible.
Well,
And that's what
this
George
could be what he said.
Yeah, that could be what he said.
He
I'm
said,
just-
saying, "Fear not." And Abram said, "Master and Yah, what wilt thou give me? Whereas I am departing without a child, but the
Right.
son of Mesech, my homeborn female slave, this Eliezer of Damascus, is mine heir." And Abram said, "I am grieved, since thou hast given me no seed, but my homeborn servant shall succeed me." This is the son of a female slave he had.
right.
A slave, a servant, slavery. I don't know. Has given me no seed, but my homeborn servant shall succeed me. And immediately there was a voice of Yahweh to him. There was a voice of Yahweh to him, saying, don't say there was heard. Immediately there was a voice of Yahweh to him, saying, "This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come out of thee shall be thine heir." And he brought him out and said to him, "Look up now to heaven and count the stars, if thou shalt be able to number them. If thou shalt be able to number them fully." And he said, "Thus shall thy seed be." And Abram believed Yah. Abram believed Elohim, and it was counted to him for righteousness. And he said to him, "I am Elohim that brought thee out of the land of the Chaldeans." It's funny, he said the same thing to the children of Israel when he brought them out of Egypt. He said, but now he's saying, "I brought you out of the land of the Chaldeans. I brought you out of Babylon, so as to give thee this land to inherit." And he said, "Master and Yah, how shall I know that I shall inherit it?" And he said to him, "Take for me an heifer in her 3rd year, and a she-goat in her 3rd year, and a ram in his 3rd year, and a dove and a pigeon." So he took to him all these and divided them in the midst and set them opposite to each other, but the birds he did not divide. And birds came down upon the bodies, even upon the divided parts of them, and Abram sat down by them. It said Abram sat down. What'd yours say?
Said he drove them off. Birds
Drove
of
them
prey
off.
came down on the carcass, but Abram drove them off.
It says, "And birds came down upon the bodies, even upon the divided parts of them, and Abram sat down by them." Or, it says, or drove them away down here in the note. Or drove them, so he sat down by, I guess him sitting down, drove them away. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The Most High told him to make these sacrifices. And immediately after, and about sunset, a trance fell upon Abram. And lo, a great gloomy terror falls upon him. And it was said to Abram, thou shalt surely know that thy seed shall be a sojourner in a land not their own, and they shall enslave them and afflict them and humble them
400 years.
400 years. I don't know about you, but being black in this country is a humbling experience.
Yeah.
It's not like being black abroad. What's up?
For those who may question, what is the difference between here and Egyptian slavery? Because the Egyptian...
Well, they weren't
slavery-
enslaved. They weren't enslaved in Egypt for 400 years.
How long were they enslaved?
Michi, I don't know if Michi listened. I think it was like 180 something.
Okay. It was vastly different than 400.
Oh yeah, but that was their land.
That was their land.
That was in
Yeah,
the
that's
region
right.
that
Egypt,
they're from.
Egypt is, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Africa.
This is thou shalt surely know that thy seed shall be a sojourner in a land that's not their own. I mean, you had to go some distance to get there.
This is our history book, dog.
They shall be sojourner in a land not their own, and they shall enslave them. They weren't enslaved necessarily in Egypt. They were in bondage.
Yeah.
They were doing slave work, but they weren't. And it's another way. The curses of Deuteronomy don't apply to the Israelites' bondage in Egypt. They didn't experience those curses in Egypt. We've experienced them here, in this land, this foreign soil. And a land not their own, and they shall enslave them and afflict them and humble them for 400 years. And the nation whomsoever they shall serve, I will judge. And after this, they shall come forth thither with much property. But thou shalt depart to thy fathers in peace, nourished in a good old age. And the 4th generation they shall return hither. For the sins of the Amorites are not yet filled up, even unto now. Now, I did some math. Said in the 4th generation. Depending on how you want to do it, the Most High showed me to calculate a generation in year in stretches of 80 years. So 80 times 5 is 400 exactly. 80 times 5 is 400 exactly. So if it takes 3 to 4 generations to get that BS out, this 5th generation, which is us, we the ones ripe to go. We ripe to make the move.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We didn't. The BS has been. We've been humbled. Our peoples were enslaved and afflicted. We've all been afflicted, and we've been humbled. It ain't easy being of color in this country.
No, it ain't.
And here you got. What did she say? What was that? Was that the scripture? How long were the Israelites enslaved? The Israelites were enslaved. I don't know exactly. In Egypt, there's information that states exactly. It's a misunderstanding of scripture to assume that 400-year prophecy is applied to that time in Israel. Pastors have done it. I've heard it said from the pulpit.
What is that?
That they was enslaved in Egypt for 400 years.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty common statement.
But that's not the case. That was not where they were. They weren't in Babylon 400 years. They weren't in Egypt 400 years. They weren't under Greek. But even if they were oppressed by the Greeks for 400 years, it was done in Jerusalem, in their own land. They left Babylon under 400 years and were allowed to go back to Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? So the question is not only how long were the Israelites enslaved, but where were they enslaved? And how long? Because if they were enslaved in their own land, then they could have been enslaved for, it don't make a difference how long. This doesn't apply to that time because this says they would be sojourners in a land not their own. When they got dispersed during the transatlantic slave trade, that's when we got scattered to the four corners. You know what I'm saying? And this book that I'm reading I know it's gonna go into all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's doing it's talking about how when the explorers got here, how basically the whole North America was Mexico. These people they had the kingdoms established, you know what I'm saying? They had rulers and they had a system set up, and like South America was Peru. You know what I'm saying? You had Mexico, you had Peru. Right. And then they of course they infiltrated with they had their Bible and they Jesus and they Christian, they baptized and kings and
the time that the sons of Israel had spent in Egypt was 430 years. That is Exodus chapter 12, verse, I'm interested to see what you'll say. Verse 40? Verse
Exodus
40.
12.
Exodus 12:40. See what it says.
Exodus 12:40. Exodus 12.
435.
And the sojourning of the children of Israel while they sojourned in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan was 430 years. And it came to pass after the 430 years, all the forces of Yahweh came forth out of the land of Egypt by night.
By night, yep, they left at night.
It is a watch kept to Yahweh so that he should bring them out of the land of Egypt. That very night is
Samuel and Greek. In the Greek, it says the stay of the children of Israel and their fathers in Egypt and Canaan had lasted 435 years. So just 5 years difference. Israel's departure.
So you got Exodus, what'd you say?
12:40.
Exodus 12:40.
Man, it was deep. Starting at the first part of that section with verse 37. The sons of Israel left Ramesses for Succoth, about 600,000 on the march, all men, not counting their families. Good grief, 600,000. People of various sorts joined them in great numbers. There were flocks too, and herds in immense droves. They baked cakes with the dough which they had brought from Egypt, unleavened, because the dough was not leavened. They had been driven out of Egypt with no time for dallying, and had not provided themselves with food for the journey. The time that the sons of Israel had spent in Egypt was 430 years. And on the very day the 430 years ended. So, okay. On the day, all the array of Yahweh left the land of Egypt. The night when Yahweh kept his vigil to bring them out of the land of Egypt must be kept as a vigil in honor of Yahweh for all generations. That's the Passover. What does that gonna say?
Oh, thank you, Most High.
What did it say?
They custom to knock out, but these jokers, man, they did some research.
Okay.
So, the covenant between the parts, whatever that is, I don't know what the parts is referring to.
The covenant between the parts.
The covenant between the parts, this is a reference to 1240.
Right.
Took place 430 years before the Exodus. The covenant took place 430 years before the Exodus. Before they left Egypt. The covenant took place 430 years
prior.
What I read in Genesis took place 430 years before
they got out.
them leaving.
So that's added in.
Exactly. So, and it is the period referred to in our verse. God foretold Abram that his offspring would endure 400 years, during which there would be an exile, persecution, and servitude. Those 400 years began with the birth of Isaac, 30 years after the covenant between the parts. Since the prophecy referred to Abram's offspring, Genesis 15:13, the actual sojourn in Egypt lasted 210 years. That's how long they were actually in Egypt enslaved. 210. So that's not the 400-year prophecy.
Yeah, it's not. Okay. Well, it's cleared up.
Hey. Accordingly, the verses reference to 430 years as the time they dwelled in Egypt means that the Egyptian exile had been decreed 430 years before the Exodus. Yeah. Yeah.
So the solid 400 is
here.
What is ending now?
Yeah. From 1619 when they got here to 2019, 400 years. Not from the time they first started getting put on slave ships.
Right. Till now.
That would have ended a while ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at the time of Isaac's birth, the 430-year mark began. So here you got Isaac, you got Jacob had to come along. He had to have his sons. They had to grow into a nation. Then they got enslaved. So all the whole time you count? Nah, that's not how it worked.
Okay.
So, I mean, what is this? What is this madness? I don't understand what this madness is. Oh, man. So, yeah, that cleared that. As far as I'm concerned, that cleared that up. Now, I mean, you can still, there's always questions that can't be asked. Ain't nothing like questions, though. You know, but that's what you're supposed to do. You gotta seek. You gotta get an understanding of this thing because it sure enough says. Apparently, the Most High took you for whatever reason you went there.
Because I remember
found that.
I've been through Genesis. I'm in Numbers now because I'm reading this whole thing.
Okay.
So I'm moving this. So I remember, reading that. I was like, oh, okay, it was 4. I remember that sparked in my mind. So I was like, now where is it?
But did yours have a breakdown? Like this had the Tanakh had the side note, the cliff note or whatever?
What did we say? Genesis,
that was Exodus
12 something?
1240.
1240. I don't think they put that in the notes section right here. Because they start talking about the Passover. Hold on. That's 1240's on this page. Yeah, I don't get that breakdown in here.
Yeah, so this but I mean, shoot, it breaks itself down. You know what I'm saying? Even it says they was there for 430. How? Ho. 430. Okay. So
430?
Where did Abraham go when he left Ur of the Chaldeans? Did he go to Egypt?
Like his first stop when he was told to go?
Yeah. Because if he was in
he
Egypt,
was on route because that's when he lied about his wife.
okay.
Said it was his sister.
So if Isaac was born in the confines or in the region of Egypt, and they didn't really venture too far away from that point, then I can see how you would calculate that time from then to then.
Yeah.
Because they were in Egypt.
They were there, yeah.
But they weren't enslaved that whole time.
Nah, they weren't. He wasn't a slave at that point.
And that still may not be, but that's just a thought. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's exactly why they calculated it like that.
Yeah, that's strange.
But according to, and it's interesting.
30 is such a long time.
The world is paying attention. The world is paying attention to what's going on. The devil knows scripture.
Yeah,
You got to understand why things have been happening the way they've been happening in this country. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the past, 50, 60 years. Things have been ramping up ridiculously fast. And in this book, they reference, these people, they think they're so smart, Joe, but they ain't used to the Most High giving. They ain't used to the Ruach leading people into all truth. They think they could just tell you anything artificial that's going to, infect your intelligence. But it doesn't work like that with everybody. And they keep referencing Adam in this book, and they reference Noah and his sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. They talk about the flood. Yet they like, man, how is it possible that the new world could have been inhabited prior to these, these Spaniards coming in 14-something? But you got Noah, the Most High gave Noah the instructions to build a boat.
Yeah.
So when they touched down on Ararat, talk about that too. Say Moses' wife's name was Asia.
Asia?
Interesting. Not Noah's wife. Not Moses. Noah's wife.
Noah's wife. I ain't the woman, okay?
Well, that's what that book say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm interested. I know Jennifer probably going to say something that Jasher might have that information, or Enoch. Somebody might talk about it. I know Enoch said the Slim was an albino, didn't he?
Yeah.
Made him out to be white.
Yeah.
Noah. So you got
albino.
They keep referencing these biblical characters and ancient scriptures say this. These is Christians. You keep referencing these, and then you wonder, it's not. You try to reason away the fact that people could have left Europe. How would they have gotten to these distant lands? They were so scared of the open ocean. They didn't want to go too. They didn't want to go so far from the land they couldn't see the land no more.
Right.
They went around coastlines.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That
But
makes
the
sense.
Phoenicians, them niggas, them darkies, they went out there. They said, you know what? Man, it's whatever.
We might not come back.
But let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's go see what happened. And they discovered, because it was determined that the Mexicans were descendants of the Phoenicians or the Carthaginians or the Sidonians, which were people of color. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We know the Phoenicians, well, from Babylon to Timbuktu, lets you know that the Phoenicians were skilled in all types of
That's how they was building them ziggurats and stuff.
That's how they did everything they did.
Yeah.
all the
them,
construction.
Them temples, man.
The original black Jews. Listen, I need to get more abreast of this stuff here. See, just to have the information is one thing, to be able to quote it, and that's what the young lady. A video was sent. This girl was like, "Man, we got to get this in." She was talking about the 400 years and awakening. It's like how I feel like a switch turned on.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, man, it's like around the 19th, 18th. What's been happening slowly with us this whole year? I knew 2000
Slowly.
before I even knew anything about that 400. I just knew this was going to be something major was going to happen
Before
this year.
2020.
But 2020 is when 2022
Yeah.
is when it's going down for real. But
Yeah.
man, she was like, y'all gotta basically talking. I ain't gonna say she was just talking to the men, but you gotta understand, man, we haven't been being groomed properly. You know what I'm saying? We've been groomed to be criminals and outcasts and animals, gangsters.
All that's part
addicts.
of the process too, man.
It's man.
The universal image of the black man. I ain't saying African American. I ain't saying black man anywhere. If you are a brother of color with pigmentation and with melanin circulating, man, you have the universal depiction of us is just it's been negative, man. But that's a part of the curse.
Part of the curse.
That's a part of the curse. I found out another place the curse was lifted at the end of Leviticus. I didn't know that either. I know it's in Deuteronomy, but it's also the back because I just finished Leviticus. Like Leviticus 26, he rehearses the curse, and in there he talks about every single thing that we have gone through here as a minority in this country, man. And it just the way that matches up is undeniable. You know what I'm saying? Like we could look at it and say, oh, that could be somebody else. And that book was written. I was like, nah, man, it matches where we are.
Yep.
And for you just to deny it is essentially just saying, I'm gonna put my intellect and my intelligence and what I've learned over that because that doesn't make any sense to me. I hate that, man.
I wonder. You see, Most High got a method to his madness. He's got a method to his workings. And in Baruch, I found it interesting that Baruch said that and let's see, Baruch said with Nebuchadnezzar, okay, and Lord shadow of Nebuchadnezzar. Okay. Baruch, chapter 1, verse 10. And they said, Behold, we have sent you money to buy burnt offerings and sin offerings and incense and prepare your manners and offer upon the altar of Yahweh our Elohim and pray for the life of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and for the life of Belteshazzar, his son, that their days may be upon the earth, the days of heaven. And Yahweh will give us strength and lighten our eyes, and we shall live under the shadow of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and under the shadow of Belteshazzar, his son, and we shall serve them many days and find favor in their sight. Pray for us also unto Yahweh our Elohim, for we have sinned against Yahweh our Elohim, and unto this day the fury of Yahweh and his wrath is not turned from us. And ye shall read this book which we have sent unto you to make confession in the house of Yahweh upon the feasts and solemn days. And ye shall say to Yahweh Elohim belongeth righteousness. And ye shall say to Yahweh Elohim belongeth righteousness. But unto us the confusion of faces, as it is come to pass this day unto them of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to our kings, and to our princes, and to our priests, and to our prophets, and to our fathers. For we have sinned before Yahweh and disobeyed him, and have not hearkened unto the voice of Yahweh our Elohim to walk in the commandments that he gave us openly since the day that Yahweh brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt unto this present day. We have been disobedient unto Yahweh our Elohim, and we have been negligent in not hearing his voice. Wherefore the evils cleaved unto us, and the curse, which Yahweh appointed by Moses his servant at the time that he brought our fathers out of the land of Egypt, to give us a land that floweth with milk and honey, like as it is to see this day. Nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of Yahweh our Elohim, according unto all the words of the prophets whom he sent unto us, but every man followed the imagination of his own wicked heart, to serve strange gods and to do evil in the sight of Yahweh our Elohim. Therefore Yahweh hath made good his words, which he pronounced against us. Therefore, man, he said a long time ago, man, if y'all do this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
They thought he was faking.
He laid it, the crazy thing was he laid it out so specifically. Like exactly what was going to happen. And it happened exactly like he said. It wasn't just like, okay, this is going, like, y'all going to just be oppressed and then just leave it as that general. He's like, this is how you're going to be oppressed.
He broke it down. That's just specifics. That's why you can't deny it. That's why I said, to raise the question, did this take place somewhere else in Scripture? No. Did they, what does Deuteronomy 20:28 say? Deuteronomy 21, 22.
Is it 23
20,
28?
28, 68 is where 28, and he said, and thy life shall be in suspense. 60, what is that? 48, hold on, where's the chapter? I don't know how to read these Roman numerals, man. 20, is it X5 and 3 ones? Is that 28?
Yeah, because every X is a 10.
And all these curses. And all these curses shall be upon thee. Okay. The Lord shall not be restored to thee. Curses. Smite thee with botch of Egypt.
Botulism.
The Yahweh send upon thee want, famine, and consumption. May Yahweh open to thee his goods, treasure. Okay. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt, verse 15, Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken to the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim to observe all his commandments, as many as I charge thee this day, then all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shalt be thy bond. And I'm gonna say this real quick. That doesn't necessarily mean, well, this is what I feel like I'm being told now. This doesn't necessarily mean all of this stuff was only gonna start happening when they got to America. It's a buildup. Because it started out over there. They had the Black Plague over there. That's what they call the plague. That was on the Jews. That, it says, cursed shall be thy bonds and thy stores. Cursed shall be thy offspring of thy body. and the fruits of thy land, the herds of thine oxen, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shalt thou be in thy coming in, and cursed shalt thou be in thy going out. Yahweh send upon thee want, and famine, and consumption on all things on which thou shalt put thy hand, until he shall have utterly destroyed thee, and until he shall have consumed thee quickly because of thine evil devices, because thou hast forsaken me. Yahweh caused the pestilence to cleave to thee, until he shall have consumed thee off the land into which thou goest to inherit it. That's them being driven out of their own land.
Right.
So all that stuff was going to happen until they got kicked out of their own land. Yahweh smite thee with distress and fever and cold. They on the run. Inflammation and blightening and paleness. And they shall pursue thee until they have destroyed thee, chasing them all over the place over there. And thou shalt have over thine head a sky of brass. There's them chains coming. And the earth under thee shall be iron. Yahweh thy Elohim make the rain of thy land dust, and dust shall come down from heaven until it shall have destroyed thee, and until it shall have quickly consumed thee. Yahweh give thee up for slaughter before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out against them one way and flee from their face 7 ways, and thou shalt be a dispersion. Here they go, they about to roll. In all the kingdoms of the earth. And your dead men shall be food to the birds of the sky and to the beasts of the earth, and there shall be none to scare them away. Yahweh smite thee with the botch of Egypt in the seat. Something happened to your butt, huh?
In the seat.
In the seat, in your seat of your pants.
Yeah, that's what that means.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yahweh smite thee with botch of Egypt, with the botch of Egypt in the seat, and with or maybe that's, I don't know, and with the malignant scab. Yes, itch. Ooh. So that,
It's not comfortable.
man, I know the feeling. And itch so that thou canst not be healed. That makes sense. Yahweh smite thee with insanity. Boy, I know a lot of jokers that just that's insanity. That's just mad just looking at them. The Yahweh smite thee with insanity and blindness and astonishment of mind. And thou shalt grope at midday as a blind man will grope in the darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and then thou shalt be unjustly treated. Here we go. Now we over here. And plundered constantly, and there shall be no helper. Thou shalt take a wife, and another man shall have her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell in it. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes of it. Thy calf shall be slain before thee, and thou shalt not eat of it. Thy calf shall be slain before thee, and thou shalt not eat of it. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from thee, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given to thine enemies, and thou shalt have no helper. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another nation. And there we go. That's what they did. They took their kids.
Yeah, it took the kids.
They took their kids. So the kids are the ones that went to that other nation.
Right.
It wasn't
that was in the video.
Exactly.
Right.
And that makes all the sense in the world.
Right.
They didn't get they went through everything up to this point.
Right.
Now these kids
Were sent into slavery.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another nation, and thine eyes wasting away shall look for them. Thine hand shall have no strength. A nation which thou knowest not shall eat the produce of thy land, and all thy labors. That might be the niggas that's over there faking. A nation which thou knowest not shall eat the produce of thy land and all thy labors, and thou shalt be injured and crushed always. Yeah. And thou shalt be distracted because of the sights of thine eyes which thou shalt see. I could say a lot of different things. Yahweh smite thee with an evil sore on the knees and the legs, so that thou shalt not be able to be healed from the sole of thy foot to the crown of thy head. Yahweh carry away thee and thy princes, whom thou shalt set over thee, to a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers know, and thou nor thy fathers know. So that can't be Babylon. I mean, Egypt, Babylon. They knew about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody knew about America. That's supposed to be the new world. So them or their fathers didn't know about it. That's got to be when they over here. Whom thou shalt, which neither thou nor thy fathers know, and thou shalt there serve other gods, wood and stone, and thou shalt be there for a wonder, and thou shalt be there for a wonder and a parable and a tale among all the nations, to which Yahweh thy Elohim shall carry thee away. Thou shalt carry forth much seed into the field, and thou shalt bring in little, because the locust shall devour it. Thou shalt plant a vineyard and dress it, and shalt not drink the wine, neither shalt thou delight thyself with it, because the worm shall devour it. Thou shalt have olive trees in all thy borders, and thou shalt not anoint thee with oil, because thine olive shall utterly cast its fruit. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, and they shall not be thine, for they shall depart into captivity. All thy trees and the fruits of thy land shall the blight consume. The stranger that is within thee shall get up very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and shall overtake thee, until he shall have consumed thee, and until he shall have destroyed thee, because thou didst not hearken to the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his ordinances, which he has commanded thee. And these things shall be signs in thee, and wonders among thy seed forever, because thou didst not serve Yahweh thy Elohim with gladness and a good heart, because of the abundance of all things. And thou shalt serve thine enemies, which Yahweh will send forth against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things. And thou shalt wear upon thy neck a yoke of iron, until he shall have destroyed thee. The Yahweh shall bring upon thee a nation from the extremity of the earth, like the swift flying of an eagle. A nation whose voice thou shalt not understand. A nation bold in countenance, which shall not respect the person of the aged, and shall not pity the young. And it shall eat up the young of thy cattle and the fruits of thy land, so as not to leave to thee corn, wine, oil, the herds of thine oxen, and the flocks of thy sheep, until it shall have destroyed thee, and have utterly crushed thee in thy cities, until the high and strong walls be destroyed, in which thou trustest, in which the high and strong walls be destroyed, in which thou trustest. In God we trust. Ain't that what the money say?
In God we trust, yeah.
And all thy land, and it shall afflict thee in the cities which he has given to thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, all that he has given thee in thy straitness and thy affliction, which thine enemy shall afflict thee. He that is tender and very delicate within thee shall look with an evil eye upon his brother, and the wife in his bosom, and the children that are left, which may have been left to him, so as not to give to one of them of the flesh of his children. See, here we get a little twist. I don't know that. Whom he shall eat, because of his having nothing left him in the straitness and in thy affliction, with which thine enemy shall afflict thee. And I ain't really get that. 54. What you want to say? 54.
On Exodus?
Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy 28, 54.
54.
I'm thinking he's talking about like around when the siege happens. Because we start talking about eating their kids and stuff like that. That happened at the siege.
Literally eating their kids.
Yeah. Because they locked them out.
He shall look with an evil eye upon his brother.
Shit, Deuteronomy, what again?
28.
28, 34,
54, 55.
The tenderest and most fastidious among you will glower at his brother. I know it's like, give him a bad look. Even at the wife he cherishes and at the children that are left to him, grudging them a share in the flesh of those children of his that he is eating. For during the siege and in the distress to which your enemies will reduce you in all your towns, there will be nothing left to him. The tenderness, okay.
This get mean, man. This don't get mean. It's going to end real bad.
I mean, that happened in the beginning. The siege happened in the beginning.
Yeah, man. It's 63. It shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you.
Yeah.
And ye shall be quickly removed from the land into which ye go to inherit it. Dang,
It ain't
because of idol worship, man.
Yeah, it ain't off. We didn't do the idol worship. They did it.
We've been doing it though.
We have adopted, but I'm not gonna say our idols are any different to try to justify any idol worship, no matter what the form is, abhorrent to God. He don't want that at all. So, I mean, the fact that he predicted the curses, he knew this was going to happen. I'm just thankful for the fact that he said he's going to bring us back to himself. He's not going to forget his covenant, which he made. He's not going to completely remove us to destroy us, but he's going to remember us. But we had a 400-year punishment.
We don't look. We grew up Christian, Adventist Christian. I'm 39, and at the age of 37, the most I started opening my eyes up to see that there was something wrong.
Yeah, something
Not right. Now, our ancestors perpetuated idolatry for hundreds, who knows how long. But it took, after 400 years of being afflicted and enslaved and humbled, now, he's like, now they're ready for me to show them who I am again. And that's what he's doing. He's told us his name. I didn't really trip off the color thing, but I knew he wasn't white. He couldn't have been white anyway, the Savior. But he's revealing truth in the midst of all these fallacies that's been stuck in his word. But he's entrusting a certain people to this information. This is classified information to the world. They don't have a clue. He's declassified it to a certain group of people so that we can wake his sheep up. He says, other sheep do I have in different folds. And many folds, I have this worded. They are people, other peoples. It's interesting. In that book, Dave referred to different nations as denominations. Yeah. They referred to the various nations, surrounding nations, as denominations. They were of this denomination. They were of that denomination.
Right.
I thought that was real interesting because we got these denominations. You know, what denomination are you? We human. We're Jews, though. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Not Jewish. Yahudim. That's who we are. Unless you don't want, if you don't want to be, man, move. Yeah, kick rocks, get out the way. You know what I'm saying? This ain't for you then. It's not for you. And whatever the Most High got for his people, Joe, the property we're going to come out with, and bump 40 acres and a mule.
He said great wealth.
Man, great.
Just like the first Exodus, except it's going to be more. Because when they left at night, they were given jewelry and money and all the provisions and food by the Egyptians. Man, they sent them away with gifts. Rolled out the red carpet for them to leave. Because that's what was prophesied to happen. The same thing going to happen. Man, this second joint.
People have gotten the human mind has become so arrogant in this land. It's like, who can make war with the beast? Who can make war? These people can't do nothing with us, man. Let them go. Let them do whatever.
Their downfall,
man.
Because once we are all out and done, and the Most High is like, okay.
So is that the last? Is that the last one?
Yep.
That's the last one. Y'all good? All right, y'all.
Judgment.
Yeah. You
don't want
work.
No parts.
Work.
You don't want no parts.
Angels
man.
geeking. They can't wait to get down here and get the crushing stuff.
You don't want no parts of that. What was it? The seven bowls in Revelation.
When
they pour out the plagues that in them golden bowls, Slim, I want no parts of none of that. Oh, no parts of none of that. And that ain't even getting to the description of the angels who are holding back the four winds.
Four winds.
Of turbulence and strife. I was like, there are winds that are actually being held back that can do that?
1,000 shall fall at thy right hand, and 10,000 at thy left, but shall not come nigh thee. I don't think we're going to have to worry about... I mean, the ones that's geeking to get some get back, I think the Most High going to let you get your hands dirty. But not that you're going to be fearful, but some people just need to be guided. They're just going to be... Because we're going to have to make a move. We're going to have to make a move. And I really believe... Go ahead.
I think just like we started this joint, we talked about the fact that when they marched around Jericho, we thought they were doing something else. When we read it, they were told to shut up. Because what they were about to witness was absolution as far as a result that they themselves could not have done. And he told them to keep their mouth shut because when it was required for them to make any noise out of their mouth, then the walls came tumbling down. But they had to be obedient first. So as long as we are obedient, then we'll see it. Just like he said, fall at your right hand or your left, but it's not going to come neither. You're going to see it. And when you behold it, you can be like, there's nothing I could have done that would have been worse than that. Nothing that I could have ever done in my physical human strength that could have been more powerful than that, more exacting than that. And I'm like, that's the type, and he's geeking to do it. His misrepresentation, I think the most annoying thing to the Most High is how much he's been misrepresented. Because that's the devil, that's his first and number one job. We talking about exposing, that's what he does. He wants to make you think that his character is something completely different from what it is. And when you have a relationship with him, you find out that difference. And then it's up to you to convey that to other people so that they'll seek him out as well, hopefully. That's what we try to do anyway.
Now,
Have a relationship.
he is definitely fed up. He's definitely, let me see, 20.
He said it in Revelation. He gonna laugh at y'all when y'all cry out to try to get help after you. Oh man.
He said, what did he say? The word said,
This is a mess, man.
He said,
it's gonna be a mess.
okay, name may be profane to you. When I have done this, it said, well, and you shall know.
Oh, you want Zeke?
Yeah, man. If I don't have my, I would have went straight to it in my King James. I got it marked off. I got to try to find. I'm not sure what verse it is. Where he says, "I will accept you, holy name for your gifts." Okay, 31. And as to you, O house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh, even Yahweh, put away each one his evil practices, and hereafter, if ye hearken to me, then shall ye no more profane my holy name by your gifts and devices. For no. Is that it? Didn't read like that in the other one. Therefore, house of Israel, this is how it do. Ye pollute yourselves with iniquities of your fathers. Therefore, as I liveth, high arm with outstretched, I will reign over you, to bring in the wilderness strong hand. I will cause you to pass under my rod. I will accept you, sweet son of Savior, and ye shall know your ways and your devices wherewith you defile yourselves, and ye shall be well. All right, I'd have to read this whole thing to find it. I don't remember exactly what it is. He basically was telling him, like, man, look, go eat, go drink, go do what you're gonna do. Just don't profane my name no more. Just get my name right. Keep that nonsense out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Look to me. That's one of the angels' messages. Fear Yah. You get glory to him that created the heavens and the earth. Not to that thing that was said.
It's important.
Created the heavens and the earth.
If you are a steward in the study of the word, especially the Old Testament, and you actually make a mental note of how many times he refers to his name in this Old Testament, it's mind-boggling.
It is.
Even at the end of Joshua 8, no, not the end, right when he tore his clothes and threw dust on his head, and he said at the end of it, he said, we are coming undone. He's like, they are going to, this is what Joshua said, because he was like, when Ai beat them, he was like, not only is this bad for us, but the surrounding nations are now going to see that we got beat by little old Ai. Then they're going to form a confederacy and come and take us out and wipe us off the face of the earth. His last remark before Yahweh shut him down was like, what are you going to do about your great name? That's what Joshua said to the Most High. And then the Most High addressed him after that was put out there. He said, because we're going to get wiped out. So because we're your heritage and you've done all this stuff for your great name, what are you going to do for your great name? We get wiped out because we couldn't beat AI. And then that's when he got up. He's like, stand up. What you lying prostrate for? He's like, this whole thing came about because you underneath the ban, because one of your jokers went and coveted and took what I consecrated for my house, for my treasury. So because he did that, now the whole nation is under penalty. So when they got that right, then what happened? He strategized with Joshua. Look at that. Hold on, look at that. Because he could have just said, now go and wipe him out.
Right. They came up with a plan.
After that, he went into stratagem with Joshua to obliterate them. He's like, oh, this is what I'm going to do for my great name. That was the response.
So Joshua was thinking AI was going to wipe them out.
He said we got beat by them. No, he said the surrounding nations are going to form a confederacy and come together.
Okay.
He's like, because it's going to take everybody.
That happened too in the Maccabees.
Yeah, that's right. Later.
Yeah.
Much later. But
So he was worried about the surrounding nations coming together. The United Nations coming together against the United Nations coming together against his people. Sound like we there again.
Man.
He said the nations that you serve will I judge. Did he not say the nations?
Nations, multiple.
Oh boy. It's all here. We ain't making this up. We're not making this up.
I know we got a little bit left, but I desperately have to use the restroom.
I mean, we can shut that. We can shut it down. We can shut it down.
Man.
I was thinking about that anyway. Man, it's time. It's time. I ain't gonna lie. There ain't a day to go by that I don't beat myself up still. I look, man. The Most High, He know what He doing.
You know what? I not an epiphany, but a thought I had, and it's almost too presumptuous to speak upon it, but I'm gonna share this. When I was watching that joint, The Family,
Right.
on Netflix, they had a mindset to where they looked at the story of David, and they saw the mistakes he made, and he was still called a man after Yah's own heart. Because of that, they used that story to justify their wicked behavior because they thought that they were in the same position, that they were chosen to choose God's leadership and to move forward in this country. See, the issue, the huge misconception they have is David said he was a man after Yah's own heart. That means because he kept seeking Yah. He didn't make the decisions. He let Yah make them. And when he did make decisions, he repented of that and he returned to him. These brothers ain't doing the same thing. I would so much as say this. All of our life, especially within our ministry since it began, we have come into seasons, weeks, and even months where we have beat ourselves up here mentally. The blood has been shed. Salvation is offered. In the book of life, it reads Orlando J. Boyd and Bradley Winston Brooks Trammell. It's in there. I know it's in there. Because it's in there and he has us having the privilege of being chosen to do stuff like this, I would not dare presume and say we can get away with anything. But his grace and mercy is sufficient. Because I used to pine and wonder over Romans 7 and 8, man. I still love those chapters. Because they talk about something every human being on this planet can relate to. I want to do right, but I only do wickedly. Why does this body still crave the wicked? Why does it crave that? And then the stuff I will to do, I don't. But the wickedness to do, I practice that. He's hip to all that. He's been hip to it since Adam made the mistake. So because of that, I'm like, they have their misconception in saying, because we're doing everything with Jesus, that we all the way right. We can't make no mistakes. We're doing everything for Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah, the Elohim, the original. How much grace and mercy is on us? I'm not saying he knows my heart. I'm not willfully going to go out there, so I'm going to go out here and kill the next person I see because they looked at me wrong. I'm rolling with his spirit. Because when I worship him in spirit and in truth and I have his spirit, then his grace attends me. I'm like a worthy vessel now because his spirit is in me. So if I carry that and I don't lean under my own understanding but to his, then I'm perfect, man. I'm infallible. Because that's what the blood afforded me. Other than that, before the Son ascended, he was the only one, I believe, rolling around with. Well, I can't say that. I don't want to say that because that's a very definitive statement. I'm not going to say that. All I'm saying right now is when your relationship is with the Most High, did not the Most High command them to kill?
Yeah, that would have been an accurate statement because he hadn't sent the Spirit yet.
He had not.
It was him doing it prior to that. That's my belief, but go ahead.
It was.
You won the money?
It was. So all I'm saying is this. When your compass, the only way you can read your compass is when the north is pointing up there. When that joint is staying pointing to him, then any direction you go in, you're going to be good because your compass is lined up. When that joint is off and you think it's on, you need to recalibrate, man. You need to recalibrate.
That's funny you mentioned compass. What was that term?
That's the first thing.
Loaded stone. A loaded stone. That's what they had back in the day. They had loaded stones that they used as compasses. Somebody gonna say something about a flipping compass today, and this feels like deja vu. This feels like deja vu, man. I don't know if it's gonna be Damon or what. This feels like deja vu, for real. You said something about a compass, and I commented on something that a book said about a compass, and because it was like, man, how could people have navigated the seas before us and they didn't have a compass? How arrogant is that? Like, but they stumbled across this loaded stone, you know, like an artifact or something. So if somebody else had it prior to y'all, what make you think they wasn't using it?
Yeah, for real.
These jokers is on the chain, but look. You said you got to use the bathroom. We about to go ahead and shut it down, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, you know, it's time. So turn the page in your mind. Let this be what it is, and anticipate what the Most High about to do as we move into our elder season. Bow your head. Most High Hashem, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to go into your word and give understanding as well as get understanding. Thank you for allowing your Ruach to stop by and attend us as we're doing this. Thank you for impressing people to write what you impressed them to write so that we can have a blueprint. You know, thank you for telling us in advance what you were going to do so we can know for a certainty that it's you doing it. Forgive us for all our iniquities. Preserve us as we go into this week. Be with all the prayer requests that went up in the beginning of the show, unspoken as well as spoken. Thank you for continuing to spare us. Thank you for picking us to be a part of this. Just thank you. And reassure all of those who have come into this truth that time has not been wasted. It's all been training. It's not like we were beguiled for the purpose of keeping us down. It was a learning experience. You almost gotta understand the evil to know it's evil. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have an opportunity to, not that everybody need to experience, you know exactly. Somebody know what that was about. So thank you for that experience. It was not time wasted. It was definitely training. And forgive us again for our iniquity. Save us when you come. Be with our families. Be with this studio. Be with Voxwave. Be with the engineers and other shows that come on this station. The messages that they're putting out, positive messages. Continue to shake these churches, shake the mess out of them, and wake your people up, and remove any opposition. Pastors, priests, bishops, cardinals, whatever, they in the way, move them, so your people can receive truth. This is my prayer in Yahweh-Shai's name. Amen.
Amen. It's been Real Talk 101 here on a Sunday afternoon, and we'll see you next time. And until then, may Yah bless and keep you.
Seek truth in that tradition.
Man, hold up, man. Who these cats? We gonna click up with this one. We gonna get real tribal with this. Hold up, man. They say that Jesus came to us. Y'all boys look like a game. No, sir, I'm tribal. I just do what I'm commanded straight from the Bible. And what's this commandment you talking about? Wake up, my people. Wake up, my people. Wake up, my people. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. Hold up. Why rap like this? Why act like that? Cause I not know who I am, Judah, and proud of that. White tee on me, my nation behind me. Matthew 10:6, that's one way, homie, that's scripture. Call me, Pisa Revere, I'm screaming, Yeshaya coming. Now dripped in blood, somebody best tell him something. He taking names, he taking lives, still toes on, coming Mount Edomite. Esau, yeah, I see y'all, Ismael, I see you too, Shiloh, come wouldn't want to be out. Step my forehead, take a bullet for I take a chip on my right hand of forehead. Listen to every word I speak, ain't gon' let them piss on me. No, we curse, but I will be marked by no beef. From Babylon to the Middle East, let them know he coming. Off a corner around the world, yes sir, he coming. Man, are you sure you guys are not a cult? No sir, I'm tribal, I just do what I'm commanded straight from the Bible. And you said the commandments were what? Wake up my people, wake up my people, wake up my people. I say, Kwam Yasha Allah.
go in till the time's up. And we shining pitch black, check the wine up. We like barbers and this word is our clippers. And you would get cut if your precepts can't line up. We came a long way but got a ways to go. We travel trying to bring peace, but you shouldn't try so. The kingdom is the mission, taking no breaks. Doing the work from 9 to 5, 6 to 8. That's all day. You a Christian on Sunday. Back to sending by Tuesday. Pray you see the truth one day. I won't play with a demon unless it's arrow tag. I stay in my own lane, that's a narrow path. Won't find this in your dreams, better wake up. Then repent, there's some things you gotta make up. Married to this word, and we would never break up. Hands up, face up, my forefather is Jacob.
Yeah, man, that sounds real gangster. I'm tribal, I just do what I'm commanded straight from the Bible. And you're saying this commandment is what? Wake up my people, wake up my people, wake up my people. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. Why I like this? Why I like that? Cause I not know who I am, Benjamin, proud of that. I be where that drama at. Come take from us, go get it back. I do this music for my people. I know the answer is your Shia. But I tell you different, Macy is a liar. That Spanish repent for that. Your Shia is for me. Now my focus on salvation, no longer where that money at. You teachers, so-called preachers, giving them satanic sermons to them dry bones in them bleachers. Most high, blow some breath in, blow some breath in, so they can wake up from their sleep and come receive their blessing. Now I follow all my Sabbath, like her fruit and Pentecost. The price of a 50 slab is all I do with Pentecost. Now they say his name is Yahweh, and I say that they some liars. I sound like I'm some dad when I say his name. You're all dressed in white, you gotta be a gang. No sir, I'm tribal, I just do what I'm commanded straight from the Bible. Okay, I'm hearing you, but the commandment again? Wake up my people, wake up my people, wake up my people. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people.
Deuteronomy 28 and 68. If that don't hit home, I'm sorry, you just can't relate. Yeah, I'm tired of them. I'm sick of the debate. Man, I've been trying to give them truth. Y'all rather live fake. Yeah, open up your eyes and rise up. Kwam Yashalara, what you think for? They perfected their lives over many years. Man, they been trying to kill us off, but we still here. I got a piece, I never thought I needed one. I found out some truth, I found out I needed one. But I would never run, but I will flee. Rise up, Judah, Matthew 10 and 23. Yeah, I'm in these streets, but I'm speaking truth. I'm trying to let these Judas know that we the real Jews. I'm always moving forward, never turning back. Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya, yeah, it's like that and I'm back.
I mean, you're all black, it's a gang. No sir, I'm tribal, I just do what I'm commanded straight from the Bible. I ain't read what commandment is that? Wake up my people, wake up my people, wake up my people. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. I say Kwam Yasha Allah. I do this for my people. Hold up. Our Father who art for you. Our Father who art for you. Our Father who art for you. Hallowed be thy name. Our Father who art for you. Our Father who art for you. Our Father who art for you. Hallowed be thy name. 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 Hallowed be thy name.